that place from which, having attained it, one never returns. That is my supreme abode. Purport by His Divine Grace, H.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The supreme abode of the personality of Godhead, Krishna, is described in the Brahma Samhita as Chintamani Dhamma, a place where all desires are fulfilled. Let's not be mistaken here. All spiritual desires are fulfilled. The supreme abode of Lord Krishna, known as Goloka Vrindavana, is full of palaces made of touchstone. There are also trees called desire trees that supply any type of eatable upon demand. And there are cows, known as Surabhi cows, which supply a limitless supply of milk. In this abode, the Lord is served by hundreds of thousands of goddesses of fortune, or Lakshmis. And he is called Govinda, the primeval Lord and the cause of all causes. The Lord is accustomed to blow his flute, Venam Kwanam Tam. His transcendental form is the most attractive in all the worlds. His eyes like lotus petals, and the color of his body is like the color of clouds. He is so attractive that his beauty excels that of thousands of cupids. He wears saffron cloth, a garland around his neck, and a peacock feather on his hair. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna gives only a small hint of his personal abode, Goloka Vrindavana, which is the supermost planet in the spiritual kingdom. A vivid description is given in the Brahma Samhita. Vedic literatures, Kathopanishad 1:3-11, state that there is nothing superior to the abode of the Supreme Godhead, and that abode is the ultimate destination. Purushan na param kinchit sa kasta paramam gata. When one attains to it, he never returns to the material world. Krishna's supreme abode and Krishna himself are non-different, being of the same quality on this earth. Vrindavana, 90 miles southeast of Delhi, is a replica of that supreme Goloka Vrindavana, located in the spiritual sky. When Krishna descended on this earth, he sported on that particular tract of land known as Vrindavana, comprising about 84 square miles in the district of Mathura, India. Text 22. Purusha saparapartha bhaktya labhyas pramanyaya yasyantak stani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam. It's a very nice verse, and very nice poetry. The Supreme Personality of God, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he's present in his abode, he is all-pervading, and everything is situated within him. So not only is Krishna all-pervading, but he encapsulates, or everything is situated within him. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is here clearly stated that the supreme destination from which, There is no return is the abode of Krishna, the Supreme Person. The Brahma Samhita describes this supreme abode as Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, a place where everything is full of spiritual bliss. All the variegated all the variegatedness manifest there is of the quality of spiritual bliss. Nothing there is material. That variegatedness is explained as the spiritual expansion of the Supreme Godhead Himself. For the manifestation, there is totally of this. I'm sorry. For the manifestation, there is totally of the spiritual energy, as explained in chapter 7. As far as this material world is concerned, although the Lord is always in His supreme abode, He is nonetheless all-pervading by His material energy. So, by His spiritual and material energies, He is present everywhere, both in the material and in the spiritual universes. Yasyantakstani means that everything is sustained within Him, within either His spiritual or material energy. The Lord is all-pervading by these two energies. To enter Krishna's supreme abode or the innumerable Vaikuntha planets is possible only by bhakti, devotional service, as clearly indicated here by the word bhaktya. No other process can help one attain that supreme abode. The Vedas, Gopala Upanishad 3.2, also describe the supreme abode and the supreme personality of God. Eko Vasi Sarva Krishna. In that abode, there is only one supreme personality of God, whose name is Krishna. He is the supreme merciful deity, and although situated there as one, He has expanded Himself into millions and millions of plenary expansions. The Vedas compare the Lord to a tree standing still, yet bearing many varieties of fruits, flowers, and changing leaves. The plenary expansions of the Lord who preside over the Vaikuntha planets are four-armed, and they are known as a variety of names: Purushottama, Trivikrama, Keshava, Madhava, Aniruddha, Rishikesha, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, Sridhara, Vasudevaya, Damodara, Janardana, Narayana, Vamana, Padmanabha, etc. The Brahma Samhita 5.37 also confirms that although the Lord is always in the supreme abode, Goloka Vrindavan, He is all-pervading, so that everything is going on nicely. Goloka eva nivasati akilatma bhuta. As stated in the Vedas, Shrutasvatara Upanishad 6.8, Parasya Shaktir Vividaya Vashriyate Swabhavaki Jnanavala Kriya Cha. His energies are so expansive that they systematically conduct everything in the cosmic manifestation without a flaw, although the Supreme Lord is far, far away. Well, simultaneously, Krishna is present in the heart of every living entity and in every atom of the universe. And at the same time, He is present in the spiritual world, Vaikuntha. So, no one can equal Krishna. No one can be greater than Krishna. Everyone is subordinate to Krishna. Text 23. Second. Yatra Kali Tvananav Yatra Kali Tvanavritim Avritim Chaiva Yogina. pratyata yanti tam kalam vakshyami paratar sabha. O best of the Brahmanas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which, passing away from this world, the yogi does not, the yogi does or does not come back. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Lord who are totally surrendered souls do not care when they leave their bodies or by what method. They leave everything in Krishna's hands and so easily and happily return to Godhead. But those who are not unalloyed devotees and who depend instead on such methods of spiritual realization as karma yoga, jnana yoga, and hatha yoga, must leave the body at a suitable time and thereby be assured whether or not they will return to this world of birth and death. If the yogi is perfect in character, if the yogi is perfect, he can select the time and situation for leaving his if the yogi is perfect, he can select the time and situation for leaving this material world. But if he is not so expert, his success depends on his accidentally passing away at a certain suitable time. The suitable time at which one passes away and does not come back are explained by the Lord in the next verse. According to Acharya Baladev Vidyabhusana, the Sanskrit word kala used herein refers to the presiding deity of time. Text 24. Apnir Jyotir Aha Suklam Sanmasa Uttarayanam Tatrapayata Gachanti Brahma Brahma Vidojana. Translation. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery God in the light at an auspicious moment of the day during the fortnight of the waxing moon or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When fire, light, day, and the fortnight of the moon are mentioned, it is to be understood that over all of them there are various presiding deities who make arrangements for the passage of the soul. At the time of death, the mind carries one on the path to a new life. If one leaves the body at the time designated above, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to attain the impersonal Brahmajyoti. Mystics who are advanced in yoga practice can arrange the time and place to leave the body. Others have no control. But if by accident they leave at an auspicious moment, then they will not return to the cycle of birth and death. But otherwise, there is every possibility that they will have to return. However, for the pure devotee and Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of returning, whether he leaves the body at an auspicious or inauspicious moment, by accident or arrangement. Well, that's very good news for us. Therefore, we should all become genuine devotees so that at the moment of death, we can remember Krishna and go back to the spiritual world where we came from. See, if we never had come from Vaikuntha, there would be no question of going back to Vaikuntha. But because we have all come from Vaikuntha, we have the right to go back. That's where our real abode is. That's where our real culture is. So, therefore, the forgetfulness that we have in this material world can be overcome by associating with genuine devotees, chanting Hare Krishna in their company, and hearing lectures given by bona fide devotees, and hearing recitations of the Bhagavad Gita, and by going on Sankirtan, and by regular taking of prasadam, and also by, of course, chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So a devotee should not worry about when they're going to die. For the pure devotee in Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of returning, whether he leaves the body at an auspicious or inauspicious moment, by accident or arrangement. Text 25. Dumo ratris tata Krishna samasa dakshinayanam tatra chandra masam jyotir yogi pratyanivartate. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but again comes back. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapila Muni mentions that those who are expert in fruitive activities and sacrificial methods on earth attain to the moon at death. These elevated souls live on the moon for about 10,000 years by demigod calculations and enjoy life by drinking somarasa. They eventually return to the earth. This means that on the moon, there are higher classes of living beings, though they may not be perceived by the gross senses. Why does it say that? Though they may not be perceived by the gross senses, because they have the residents of the moon have subtle bodies. Therefore, if somebody goes to the moon from the earth, they will not see the residents of the moon. Anyway, no one has gone to the moon. They claim they went to the moon. They never went to the moon. And they're never going to go to the moon. The moon is a heavenly planet. And just like if you want to go from the United States to, let's say, Russia, you have to have a, what do you call that? You have to go through customs, and you have to have a, what do you call that?
Visa.
You have to have a visa. Yes. And that's to go from one country to another on the earth. Imagine trying to go to the moon, where there's a whole, the moon has a huge number of living entities that live there that are superior to human beings. We're not going to be able to go there on our own will. We have to get our ticket. And the ticket requires also changing our body, because we cannot exist on the moon. The atmosphere of the moon is way different than the atmosphere on the Earth. Therefore, it says, these elevated souls live on the moon for about 10,000 years by demigod calculations. That's longer than 10,000 years of human calculation. And enjoy life by drinking somarasa. Somarasa, every time a person drinks somarasa, it increases their lifespan by, 10,000 years. They eventually return to Earth. This means that on the moon, there are higher classes of living beings, though they may not be perceived by the gross senses. Text 26. According to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back, but when one passes in darkness, he returns. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Well, what does it mean, one in light and one in darkness? Well, the 6 months of the year when there's more light, and there are 6 months of the year when there's more darkness. The same description of departure and return is quoted by Acharya Baladeva Vidyabhusan from the Chandogya Upanishad 5.10 3-5. Those who are fruitive laborers and philosophical speculators from time immemorial are constantly going and coming. Actually, they do not attain ultimate salvation, for they do not surrender to Krishna. That's the whole purport. So according to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back. When one passes in darkness, he returns. Okay, well, that is let's say, a statement, but we shouldn't worry about the statement, because the next verse says, although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. Purport. Krishna is here advising Arjuna that he should not be disturbed by the different paths the soul can take when leaving the material body. A devotee of the Supreme Lord should not worry whether he will depart by arrangement or by accident. The devotee should be firmly established in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
He should know that concern over either of these two paths is troublesome. The best way to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness is to be always dovetailed in service. And this will make one's path to the spiritual kingdom safe, certain, and direct. The word yoga yukta is especially significant in this verse. One who is firm in yoga is constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness in all his activities. Sri Rupa Goswami advises, Anasakta Shavishayam Yatarham Upayun Jataha. One should be unattached in material affairs and do everything in Krishna consciousness. By this system, which is called Yukta Vairagya, one attains perfection. Therefore, the devotee is not disturbed by these descriptions because he knows that his passage to the supreme abode is guaranteed by devotional service. Wow. What a nice verse and purport. Because he knows that his passage to the supreme abode is guaranteed by devotional service. Therefore, devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the Yuga Dharma, the recommended way to make spiritual advancement in this age of Kali Yuga. And it's called Yukta Vairagya. That means that one dovetails everything in Krishna's service. By this Yukta Vairagya, one attains perfection. Therefore, the devotee is not disturbed by these descriptions because he knows that his passage to the Supreme Lord is guaranteed by devotional service. Okay, so are there any questions? Are there any questions anyone would like to ask? Any questions? So our takeaway for today is that you have a question.
One question, Maharaj says, Maharaj, devotees should be firmly established in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna. So how this firm thing will come, Maharaj?
Because you're practicing Krishna consciousness every day, then you're firmly attached. It says, firmly?
Yeah, it says the devotee should be firmly established.
Okay, firmly established.
In Krishna consciousness, yeah, and chant Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Just like you have a house, right? So your house is firmly established, right? You're going there every day, you see it, it's still there, right? So the devotee has to be firmly established. He has to be grounded in Krishna consciousness. He has to have a vow that I'm never going to leave Krishna consciousness. And that means he's firmly established. Okay. So our takeaway today.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So if the devotee is firmly established in Krishna conscious and they chant every single day, but they're not able to make it to the temple very often, is that still firm enough for devotional service?
Well, yeah, if you're engaged in devotional service, whether in the temple or in your house, it's the same thing. It's not like, oh, in the house it's not as good as in the temple. No. As long as you're following the regulative principles, chanting your rounds, offering your food, and regularly, let's say, most important is chanting your rounds and offering your food always to the Lord, and you are firmly grounded in Krishna consciousness.
Okay.
Even though you might not be able to come to the temple. Go ahead. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So our takeaway tonight is one who is firm in yoga is constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness in all his activities. Sri Rupa Goswami advises, Anasakta Sivishayam Yaharanam Upayunjataha. One should be unattached in material affairs and do everything in Krishna consciousness. By this system, which is called Yukta Vairagya. In other words, Vairagya means performing sacrifices, and Yukta Vairagya he performed sacrifices for the pleasure of Krishna. By this system, which is called Yukta Vairagya, in other words, being unattached in material affairs and do everything in Krishna consciousness. That's called Yukta Vairagya. One attains perfection. Therefore, the devotee is not disturbed by these descriptions. Like it's in this verse today, it's saying that there are two pathways or two paths that a devotee can take. The devotee should not worry about these different paths. Krishna is guaranteeing that the devotee will come back to him if he or she follows the regulative principles and is always chanting Hare Krishna. Therefore, the devotee is not disturbed by these descriptions because he knows that his passage to the supreme abode is guaranteed by devotional service. So the guarantee is that you're always engaged in devotional service. It's not even geographical, meaning even if you can't come to the temple, but you're always chanting Hare Krishna and following Krishna consciousness at home. That's the same thing as coming to the temple. Your house can be the temple. You can have the deity in the temple. You can have prasadam in the temple. You can invite people to your house. You can have the prasadam in your house. You can invite people to your house to take prasadam and chant Hare Krishna. So anywhere where there is chanting of Hare Krishna and prasadam, that is a temple. And you could be under a tree, you can be in a house, but that is a temple where people are chanting Hare Krishna and respecting prasadam and hearing Bhagavad Gita spoken by genuine devotees. So our takeaway is Sri Rupa Goswami advises Anasaktasya Vishayan Yahar Adyatar Upayunjataha. One should be unattached in material affairs and do everything in Krishna consciousness. By this system, which is called Yukta Vairagya, one attains perfection. Therefore, the devotee is not disturbed by these descriptions because he knows that his passage to the supreme abode is guaranteed by devotional service. Therefore, if we're always engaged in devotional service, either in our home or in the temple, you don't have to worry about leaving your body at the right time or this or that. You will go back to Godhead because you are always chanting Hare Krishna and following the regulative principles. Thank you very much, my dear devotees. I pray that you all go back to Godhead in this lifetime, chanting Hare Krishna and being happy. Hare Bol. Yes, brother.
One question, Maharaj.
Yes.
Sometimes I have seen some old people, or they are in mode of goodness, but sometimes they pray that I should die in this situation, or I should die but with my working body. I should not be dependent on someone. Like they have a lot of if in their prayers.
Yeah.
But here it clearly says we don't need to put those conditions or worry about those things.
Yeah.
Sometimes old people, they have like these kind of prayers.
I suppose they're not chanting Hare Krishna. They're chanting Hare Krishna, it doesn't matter.
Right.
They can die in this way or that way, it doesn't matter. Because they never die. They have an eternal soul. That's the other thing. So we shouldn't worry about dying. We should worry about following Krishna consciousness. That's what we should worry about. Hare Bol.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All glories to Sri
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada. Now I'm going to get ready to go to the temple. And guess what? I'm going to chant Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.